That was lovely, wasn't it? That was a nice, relaxing game to take us through midweek. But yeah, thank you for joining us in this late night special edition. Yes, it's let's just kind of bring this up straight away. That's what we're just going to talk about, aren't we? Up the academy, lads. Brilliant kind of performance. We have 3-0 win against Southampton. Southampton played really well. We're just going to talk through some of the aspects of what's happened today. What the feeling of Matty and Kings, who've joined me tonight. Thank you for joining, the gentlemen. How are you, Matty?
Good. I feel like a proud dad today, to be honest.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm made up. Like some of them I've watched for so many years, and
Mm,
seeing them come into the first team and do so well, I'm dead proud of them, to be honest. And it really is just the tip of the iceberg that with what we've got, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I'm really proud of them. I wasn't at all worried going into the game. I knew that
yeah.
our academy lads are probably better than Southampton, and they did play a weaker side as well. So when you see that, you're like, oh, yeah, I fancy us there. And to be honest, long way to continue. I'd play some of the kids against United as well. I think they're better than some of the United a lot.
Yeah. No. I'd go with that. Go with that. And Kings, how are you? First time on stream together.
Yeah, nice to see you, Charlie. Yeah, doing all right. I'm obviously happier after that win. I'm slightly less than what Matt said. I was a bit nervous tonight, thinking because we so much energy used up on Sunday, obviously for everyone. I
Mm,
was like, I don't know what kind of side he's going to put out. Expecting a lot of youth in it, but to be fair, they stood up to it, no problem. They were fantastic tonight. Really,
yeah.
I mean, we'll go into it more. Obviously, Southampton did play well, especially the first half. But I thought after that, the youngsters really got a grip on the game, and that was it. Started passing it around as if it was just a training game in the end, I think.
Yeah. Let's stick with that kind of feeling there, Kings. When the starting 11 came out and we saw the names that were that Jurgen had gone with. So you had Connor Bradley, obviously a right back, but then Joe Koumas was playing. If he's not playing right back, he's playing left back. But then Simicast is playing. So where's Gomez going to be playing? That was a bit of a conundrum, a bit of a question mark as to where he is, because McConnell was playing as well, and he's kind of shown, certainly in Sunday's game, how well he played in the centre of the park. Uh, what were your feelings generally just coming into the game and seeing that starting lineup? Was it a little bit too youthful, or is it just expected after the heroics over the weekend?
It wasn't too youthful for me. No, it was half expected as well. To be fair, like after the weekend, I expected Dan's not to start. Though he's the one who everyone's going to talk about today. I did expect him not to
Mm,
start. He hasn't even had many minutes in the under 23s. Dan's, to be fair, he's been more in the 18s, and I think he's played 2 or 3 games for the 23s. He's had a few FA Youth Cup appearances, but when I seen Koumas on the team sheet, he's fantastic. I think he's our top goal scorer for the 23s. He's very good. He's a proper winger, and I think what you see with the Liverpool team that Klopp put out, no matter how deep into the academy we go, they all play the same way. And I
yeah.
think that Klopp philosophy is instilled right through the club, and every player comes in, he knows exactly what's expected of them, and no matter what position that they play in. Even Joe Gomez tonight, he was somewhat of like an 8/6. I think he done all right for a position he's never done before. I think he
Yeah.
done fantastically, to be fair to him. So I think we lined up very well. I think it's a testament to Conor Bradley that Klopp wanted to get him in the side to the point he had moved Joe Gomez to midfield. It
Yeah.
shows how good he's done. And yeah, see you go for some Alex Inglethorpe love there in the chat. That's nice to see because he honestly like I'm just buzzing. I'm so happy. Like that result means so much to them kids. It means so much
Yeah.
to people involved in the academy and stuff. And it's amazing, really. That's a massive result. It may only be Southampton in the fourth round of the cup,
Mm.
but for them kids, that's huge.
Yeah, but I think with that though, we got to look at Southampton. Southampton played very strong team. They were very physical, weren't they?
Yeah,
In their approach, they kind of in the first kind of half of the first half, they were very physical, bullying our youngsters. You couldn't see, Koumas get much of the ball. and that kind of just proven, and that was expected, wasn't it, Kings, in that respect? Southampton were just gonna be full pelt, and they're a good team in the Champions League. Sorry, not Champions League, in the Championship. And I was saying in the group chat that Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester seem like decent teams. They could cause a few upsets if they get promoted back into the Premier League.
There's a lot to be said about the Championship, to be honest, because obviously teams go down, they come back up, and they seem to yo-yo a bit. But the Championship itself, especially the top half, it's actually quite strong. So some of the teams, whether it's a newer team like say Luton this time, they've gradually found their feet a little bit more as they've gone along. But Leicester, Leeds, Southampton, they've all been there or thereabouts in the Premier League. Just gone down. Looks like 2, maybe 3 of them might come back. I think the ITV commentator said at the beginning that I think they're the 3rd highest scorers in the Championship, although they're not in the top 2 or something like that. Anyway, they're not far off. So I expected them to come out quite aggressively. I didn't expect him actually to maybe change so much of his side. I suppose his Russell Martin's idea is they've got to concentrate on the league, really. So they come and they did bully a little bit. Our players, I think, were slow to start. Not really surprised after, like I say, the efforts they put in on Sunday takes it out of you, whoever you are. Even if it's Big Virgil playing at the back, it's like, okay, he played half a game, but he must have been tired. Got to be.
And I said that as well. I was like, how much. Virgil's a monster, isn't he? Mentally and also physically, his age and whatnot, but still to play 120 minutes on Sunday and say, right, I'm going to be captain, going to lead the boys, their very young side, and get them through the first half. And he did. He was brilliant in that respect. And you could see him kind of coaching the players around him, trying to get Koumas into the ball. A lot of good things that were occurring. So that first half really kind of spun as soon as Koumas scored the goal. We initially thought, an absolute blinder, but it took a little deflection, but we're not going to take that away from him. Still great move, found his feet and got that shot away, didn't he, there, Matty?
Yeah, that's Koumas' games. I think he started it quite nervously. Didn't want to put a foot wrong. We could see the pressure was on him, and once he grew into the game and he would then got that confidence to take that man on, cut inside and have a shot. His goal is what we see quite often in the academy. I mean, I've just had a look then. In 16 games for the kids this year, he's scored 13 goals and got 3 assists, and he's predominantly on the left wing. He's a bit like Mane, so to speak, where he favours to cut in and have a go, but he's not quite like Salah, who will always go for outside of the box shot. He's quite happy to drive in. But the goal we've seen today is so common from him. He's a fantastic talent I think he's been with us since he was 11. He's been with us for a long time now, Koumas, and he's a fantastic, fantastic player. To be fair, I like his dad. I know his dad didn't reach massive heights, but I like his dad as a footballer, and I think Koumas as well. He's just one of them. He's just a likable person. I think if he does get more minutes, a lot of the fans will like him. Obviously, the limelight today is going to go to Dan's, and rightfully so. But Koumas, I think, played very, very well once he grew into the game, and that confidence is only going to come. This was this boy's 18 years of age, first start ever at Anfield under the lights, and once he grew into the game, I think he was exceptional, to be fair to him. He took his goal well. Yeah, it got a deflection, but if you're not in them positions to make them shots, you're not going to get them deflections. Yeah. So the fact he had the confidence to drive a defence of a team who were challenging in the Championship, which is probably one of the toughest leagues in football, drive at them and get the shot off it, it shows his confidence. But he's in fine form for the academy this year, Koumas, and it's good to see these boys replicate him in the first team. It shows that step up that you used to regard to be so big from the 23s to the first team, it seems to be slowly getting smaller because the kids are so good.
Yeah, and I do want to stick on that because there was a point that you made earlier about the whole structure of the club is kind of dictated to play a single kind of a single pattern, and that kind of reminds me of the way that Ajax was set up. Certainly back in the 90s, and I've said this before about the group of lads. I think you guys agree, this is probably the best group of lads that we've had come through in such a short amount of time since the 90s. We probably had better players come through, perhaps, who knows?
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard, etc. But the group of young lads that have come through, probably the best since that Fowler, McManaman, that era themselves.
Yeah, it probably is, to be fair. Because obviously I know we've had Trent and Jones, but the gap of them wasn't what you'd want from your academy. You want your academy to be churning out probably 1 to 2 regular first teamers every single year. And this year we've just seen a plethora of them just burst onto the scene, and then they're all ready to go. And literally, I said it in the chat before, it's literally the tip of the iceberg with this academy. We've invested so much money into getting these kids. Like we got Trey Only from Leicester last year.
Yeah.
We brought McConnell in from Sunderland when he was 16. Bobby Clark in from Newcastle, I think, when he was 16. So we're looking and getting the best kids for like millions, 800 grand and stuff like that. But in 2, 3, 4 years, these are the players like your Solankis who you sell on for 30 odd million. Yes, not all of them might be good enough to play for Liverpool, but the ones who don't will probably go on and have decent careers elsewhere, and you're probably going to get 20, 30 million for them. And I think that's a side of our ownership that goes under the radar. I think, to be fair, they've massively invested into the infrastructure, the academy, ensuring that the academy's seamless from top to bottom. Like Muse is saying, they reckon there's £300 million worth of plus in assets there, and I'd agree. Like the fact, even just moving the first team up to Kirby, I think you're now seeing the benefits of that, because I know when it happened, it raised eyebrows. We were leaving Melwood, and everyone was like, "Why are we doing that?" But it makes sense, and not just, and even post Klopp, having any manager where they can look out their office window and see the next generation warming up, training. Jurgen, or a representative from the first team, is at every single academy game, watching over them. But I do think one of the key figures in the academy in terms of developing this much talent was Vitor Jaros, who's sadly departing with Linders, isn't he, in the summer? And it'll be interesting to see the dynamic once he leaves. He's someone who doesn't get much limelight, but his work in the academy has been, it's unbelievable. Like this academy now and the group of players, I think in 10, 15 years' time, people are going to talk about this group of players coming through, and the ones still to come through. In terms of like your Ajaxes, your La Masias and stuff like that. The players going through are all that good, and it wouldn't surprise me in a few years if we potentially had a starting 11 from 1 to 11 of players that have come through the academy, which I know Barcelona done once or twice, didn't they? It wouldn't surprise me if we do that.
Exciting times. And then just coming back to tonight's game, their Kings, that midfield was a surprise, but in the end, it kind of worked out. We started with McConnell, Gomez, and Clark. What were your thoughts about the midfield itself?
To be fair, I haven't seen Clark play that much. Did really well at the weekend. Obviously, thought he was fantastic tonight. To be fair, he didn't make a fuss or anything. He just got on with his job, and that's a sign of a good player. To be honest, there's no airs and graces kind of thing. It's like, listen, I'm here to do whatever job I've been asked. And he quietly went about it on the pitch, and and did it well, to be fair to him. McConnell, again, the thing is with all the youngsters, as Matty was saying, and I got to echo what Matty said. I mean, that's spot on. The thing is, when they come through the training ground now, and they're being watched all the time, the good thing is, when they finally move up to the first team or in and about that area, they're told straight away, right, you're good enough because we're moving you up. And the manager, and our manager especially, comes in and he goes, right, I believe in you, lads. He says it straight away to them. Look, there's the pros there, like Salah and Nunez and etc. And you lot are sitting here and you're just getting called in, but I believe in you to go out there and do the best you can. And that gives them, they feel 10 feet tall. So they go out there and they perform for him because he's made them feel that good as a player. And that really shows on the pitch. Like we seen it early in the season when Bradley came through. And, the confidence he had taking over from Trent, it was just like he just slotted in as if he'd done it for a couple of years. It was just like, yeah, I've always been the understudy and it's fine. And he just stepped up. No issue whatsoever. And now the rest of them
Kwanzaa
are
as well, isn't he? And Kwanzaa, because when Kwanzaa gave that interview about overtaking Matip, the mentality is just phenomenal. They are trained mentally to be elite sportsmen. Nothing phases them. The psychology department, if there is one at the club, the way that they are conditioning the players to move on up, it's just phenomenal. I've just never seen anything like it.
I mean, going back to what you said about the midfield, McConnell played well. I think as a unit, people were a bit like, well, are they going to be any good? Because it's very inexperienced. But they had enough quality to get on with the game. Like I said, I think it was a bit of a rocky start. And I don't know whether that was down to tiredness, over celebrations, whatever, which they're entitled to, no problem. But they grew into the game and kind of got hold of it in the end. And it was just like, right, this is how we're going to play, especially second half. And I thought they did really well overall.
Yeah. I mean, there probably is a couple of dampeners, and I'm just playing that devil's advocate. Gomez and his shooting, it's probably becoming a bit of a hindrance to the player and probably everyone else that's surrounded him. So whenever he's picking up the ball outside the box, there's just massive shouts for shoot, and I don't know if it's getting in his own head, but unless he's like, he's going to score in worldy at some point, I'm sure. But is it distracting now, do you think? Whoever wants to grab onto that can do.
At the end of the game, when you hear the shoot shouts to Gomez, I don't mind that, but there was some shoot shouts in like minute 5 when he's going just like, come on now, like that. It does my head in all the time. I'd rather just not shout it and just be more like when he's not. If he was to score a worldie and we shoot and he scores that worldie, then I'll eat my own words. But for me, I'd rather just us not put the pressure on. If he scores, he scores. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I mean, Jamie Carragher's one of my favourite ever Liverpool players, and I think he scored like 3 or 4 goals in his whole career. So it just doesn't. Some centre backs can get goals, some centre backs don't, and I think Gomez's downfall in terms of not getting many goals is because he's the quickest centre back. So when we go for corners, he's the one who plays a little bit deeper. He doesn't make the run like Van Dijk because he's the fastest in order to get the runner. So he does his job for me. If he plays his whole career for Liverpool and doesn't score a single goal, I honestly wouldn't care. So I don't understand all these shoot shouts. It burns me head out.
And I'm sure if he were to look back at his own career and look at the medals compared to goals, he's going to be happy with everything he's just won over the years. It just doesn't make a difference. His job is to keep the goals out rather than keep scoring goals. Whether they're 1 yard out or 30 yards out, he doesn't really care. I'm sure he doesn't. But the other one that I just want to kind of call out, and I think he is in his own head, is Cody Gakpo. Kings, I'll come to you about him, and then over to yourself, Matty. Is Cody just a victim of losing that confidence, being inside his own head, clutching, he just doesn't seem to be the same player as what he was last year.
I think if you look, going slightly off it, if you look at somebody like Darwin Núñez, he takes shot after shot and he doesn't let it get him down. It can go 10 rows back, it can go off the crossbar, etc. It can go out for a corner anyway, but the next shot he'll try again. He doesn't seem to lose confidence. I think with Gakpo, it's getting to him a bit. He did one run, I think, in the second half. To be fair, he hit it, and I thought it was going to dip, and it was like, well, it didn't quite. So it was like, fair enough, that was a cracking run and shot. But overall, it seems to be he's lacking confidence when it comes to just being clinical enough. He doesn't believe in himself to just maybe take a one-on-one and have a go at the goalkeeper, possibly. I'm not saying he's a bad player. There's definitely a decent player in there, but he does seem to just doubt himself a little bit as he's going along. And you think, well, the more in the game it's going that he's not getting the best touch or the best pass or the best shot, then he seems to shrink a little bit more, and until Klopp finally takes him off and says, well, I'll try someone else then.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Klopp, he is trying. He's giving Cody the minutes to try to rediscover that form. I'm hoping it comes back because he's a terrific player. That game against United last season, in the 7-0, the couple of goals were just brilliant. And I just want to see that player back, because when there's a happy Gakpo, we play really well. He was like that Bobby-esque player. The closest player that we have to Bobby, and the way that we want to play going forward. Who knows? We'll see whether that actually happens. Matty, kind of just before I kind of closed the door on the Cody chat, anything that you want to bring in about that?
I think with Cody, we haven't helped him much. It feels like his form dipped off when we put him into central midfield, and he strikes me as one of them goal scorers who, once he scores goals, he gets more confidence. He's one of them confidence type players, and moved him into centre midfield to cover there. He didn't obviously get as many goals. I think his confidence got knocked, and he's just a player who doesn't believe in himself much anymore. But once that comes back, I like him. But to be fair, I prefer Gakpo on the left wing. I think when he's on the cutting in, he's a much better player. But then the option we've got is most of our players who we've signed are all a lot stronger on the left hand side. So it's where we probably were.
No, exactly. So Jota can play there. Obviously, Diaz, Nunez can play there. We are stacked in that one position. It's just kind of fitting the players in. But the thing is, there's just there's so many games coming up. There's another game on the weekend straight away. No kind of time for rest. So there's opportunities for him to kind of take the chance. And I think he just needs to remind himself of that. It isn't a case of he'll be out for weeks and weeks. It's just there's another game around the corner. Hopefully he comes back. One player that completely I've forgotten, and I think maybe that's actually a bit of an indication of how good he is. Kevin Kelleher, again, the saves in the first half was just, in the first 20 minutes, we kind of joked in the group and said he could have been 4-5-0. But the saves that he kept pulling out was just phenomenal. Matty, I'll come to you about Kevin. He's just showing again why he's probably is the best number 2 in the league. Is he the best number 2 in the world? Who knows? But Klopp calls him that. Definitely gives him the confidence. Now he's finding his feet again after a bit of a dip in the back end of last season. We've got that confidence again, and any club that wants to kind of spend the money looking at a really good goalkeeper should just look no further than Kevin Kelleher, right?
Yeah, and the worry with Kelleher for me is that when he plays more games, he gets that confidence and he becomes fantastic. And then teams start sniffing. I've always said with Kelleher, if he was in the past, I wouldn't be angry because I think he deserves to be a starting goalkeeper in the side. But then you look at Kelleher and you think, is he happy to maybe be a number 2 and working with the best, winning trophies, getting a few minutes and stuff? And once he gets that run of games under his belt, he always seems to deliver. Like, I remember when people were talking about when we got through the League Cup final, Alisson needs to play the final. It's like, he doesn't. So Kelleher, that's his cup. And whenever you need him to, he steps up. And today, when you look at that side, I know there's a lot of inexperience, but you look at the fact that we had like Koumas, Van Dijk and Kelleher, and you're like, as long as we're defensively sound, we can win that game pretty easily. And I think that speaks volumes to Kelleher. I think he potentially is probably the best number 2 in the world, because when you think, well, who's really better than who's number 2, I think only Arsenal have probably got a better depth of goalkeepers, having Raya and Ramsdale, but I'm not Ramsdale's biggest fan, to be fair.
I'm the same. I totally agree. I've had this conversation with Jay in the group about Ramsdale. He really rates Ramsdale, but I don't see much difference, much gap between Kelleher and Ramsdale. Just to let you know, Kings. Sorry, I just put you on mute because there was a little bit of feedback when Matthew was speaking. So if you want to speak, just come back off mute, mate. But yeah, he's brilliant. He keeps saving us. I have absolute confidence in him now. It was never kind of waned. It was just whether over the longer period, could he actually do it? And he's just proven that he's just a really, really capable Premier League elite goalkeeper.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, I think we've wasted enough time talking about everything apart from the main man, the main lad, Jaden Dance. Matty, I'm going to come to you. Well, actually, let's go to Kings first. Kings, because I'll put you on mute, kind of.
That's all right.
But he's come in, and wow, what a kind of introduction! It reminds me of Robbie Fowler, in the sense of Fowler started 3-1 against Fulham, but then the next game scored 5. I know that's a kind of extreme example, but to see such a young player come in from the academy and look at ease putting the ball back in the net. Michael Owen against Wimbledon, you saw that and you were like, wow, we've got a player. Have you got that kind of same feeling with Jaden?
Yeah, I've been hearing his name for a while, to be fair. And like I go back to what I said earlier, it's like, he's brought him in, he gives him the confidence and says, right, I believe in whatever position you're playing, go for it. And he showed glimpses Sunday. He's hungry to attack it at least. And we all know if you try, if you can do a shot on goal and whatever, you sometimes get a deflection, it'll go in, you never know. As long as you try, tonight, the second goal where he just chipped over the goalie. To be fair, he took it nicely. Just the confidence. Is he 18? Something like that, Matty? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Someone's put in the comments how old he is. Here we go.
Just turned
our
18.
good man. Yeah, just
turned
our
18.
main
I
man,
wasn't
Elia.
sure if it was 17 or 18, but the confidence in him does, in a way, like Michael Owen, when he broke through and Robbie Fowler, they're young, but they know where the goal is. He had a quick glance up before he chipped the goal, and it was literally a side glance out of the corner of his eye, bumped straight over. It was in. It's like the confidence to be playing in front of the cop, under the lights, knowing that, Southampton had their chances. So it's kind of not necessarily a done deal. And he comes in and he's just like, well, I'll show what I can do. And you can see the way he celebrated one of the goals with Kanate. He was just like so excited. He runs off celebrating. It's like, fair play to the lad. He's definitely a talent to keep an eye on. And I wouldn't be surprised now if Klopp maybe bloods him more and more during the season. Like, I don't know if he'll start on Saturday, but he should definitely minimum be on the bench if he isn't starting against Forest. And it's like, give him his chance. If he's got the appetite to be playing like that and going at it, give him his dues. He could have 10 goals between now and the end of the season. It's like, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, he's already got 2 now, isn't he? So
yeah,
the more goals, more opportunities. Who knows what he can do? Matt, you watch a little bit more kind of youth football than myself. Certainly. That's how he plays, right? That's no fluke, essentially.
No, that's Jaden Dance to a T. To be fair, he's really burst onto the scene. I'd say in like the last 2 years. So he was quite small, Jaden Dance, about 2-3 years ago. And you could see the talent was there, but he just needed to bulk up, he needed to grow, develop, and stuff like that. And the last year in the 18s, it was sort of like his comeback year. He was good, but not to the level that he can be. And then this year, I've just got them up so I don't get it wrong, but he scored 16 goals and 4 assists in 19 games in youth football.
Yeah.
But he only played 9 games in the under 18, scoring 9 goals with 2 assists before they then moved him to 23s. And they moved to 23s to sort of counteract the goals that they were going to miss from Ben Doak. I've seen a comment here, Doak overtaken by Dan. Honestly, Doak's a different position and Doak's a whole different ball game. But Jaden Dan's, the way he's built and there's dedication to the game, it's probably one of the best I've ever seen in a kid coming through now. Obviously, I know his dad was a footballer with Neil Dans. His dad's very passionate. He's at every single academy game. At the end of the game, you see his dad going over to him and he's still coaching, even though he's getting coached by Liverpool, knowing where he can improve and stuff. And he's dedicated to succeed in Jaden Dans, and he's a massive Liverpool fan as well. How he played today, it didn't surprise anyone who's watched the academy. That is just what he's like. Loads of people have compared him to Harry Kane. Now, I know you'll have all the, he's won more than Kane and stuff, but he is just like Kane, the way he plays. He's an absolute unbelievable goal scorer, but he's fantastic at pressing as well. He's very smart with his body. He knows how to use his body to his advantage. He's good on the last minute. Second goal today, he's so good at that as well, where he's just in the right place at the right time and he'll pounce. And I think that's what Harry Kane's probably the best in the world at, being there and pouncing on it. And Jaden Dan's is absolutely fantastic at doing that as well. And his rise this season, especially, it's been like something I've never seen before with one of our kids, to be fair. So when he's starting the season in the under 18s, you think he'll probably have another year in the 18s and then he'll go up to the 23s, see how he does there. And then that's where you can sort of filter out who's going to get loaned or sold or who's going to maybe have a few minutes for the first team and then probably follow a similar path. But with Dan's, he started that under 18 campaign so well. It was like men playing against boys when he was there. It was just unfair. So then they moved him up to the 23s. And there, he's only played 4 times in the 23s. He scored 2 and 2 assists. So he's just dominating that level as well. And then he's come to the first team. Granted, that Southampton are a championship side, but they're probably a championship / Premier League side. They're one of them
Yeah.
sides that are always on the cusp. And he's made it look like work there as well. He's a very, very good player. I wouldn't like to see him come too much into the first team this season, just because I'd like to see him continue his youth cup run with the Reds and stuff, get some more minutes with the 23s. And then eventually, he's definitely going to be someone who I'd say will probably have a career at Liverpool, 100%. I think he's that good. He's ready made, and it's one of them. You don't want to push him too soon, but he's certainly got the talent to play now.
Yeah.
To be fair, like if he started against Forest on the weekend, I wouldn't rule out him scoring again. He's just that type of player defenders hate playing against, and he's absolutely fantastic. And the academy lads, the way they play, he's got a fantastic relationship with Trent Koumas, who we haven't seen yet. He's another unbelievable player.
Yeah.
And Ben Doak. And what I would be excited to see is maybe in like cup games or stuff next year, the Ben Doak and Jaden Dans, just so that people can see the link up that they can have. And then Koumas and Dans, I don't think they had much minutes on the pitch today. Them two link up very, very well. And I think that's what we're seeing when all these academy lads are playing, because they played together for so long. They know each other's game. But the front threes in which Dans has played in with like Trent Cone-Doherty and Koumas and stuff like that, the link up play's been fantastic. And the fact Jack Dans has came in, hasn't had his familiar surroundings on who knows runs, who knows what he's like, and he's still excelled. It's a credit to himself, really. And I think the only thing missing with Dan's is our first team need to know what he's very good at as well. In the final on Sunday, I was screaming for them to just whip it into him. He's phenomenal in the air, and we didn't do that. And there's a few chances today as well where we could have whipped the ball in. He probably would have had 3 or 4 goals, to be fair to me. He's a monster in the air, and he's brilliant with his feet as well. He's a proper all-round forward, really. And I do think he'll do very well at Liverpool. His rise this season especially has been unbelievable. And it's credit to the academy coaches like Wilkinson and Barry Lucis as well. Like the coaches in the academy they're really churning them out now. But Dan's is one who is probably going to get all the headlines. But if people are excited by Jaden Dans, wait till you see the rest of them that coming through, honestly. There's some very, very good players in that academy.
Do you know what I wish we had? I wish that we had like a love heart kind of feature on here, and you just have like Matty speaking for 5 minutes about how proud he is about the youngsters that we have at Liverpool. You know, that was brilliant. That was such a good piece of analysis there, Matty, and I love that. There was something that I heard about Jaden where he grew from 5'3" to 6 foot in no time at all, and that's what caused the kind of the time that he was out from playing. And I think that was just a piece. I couldn't even imagine. You know, I'm 6'3", but you know, going through the growth spurt and the growing pains. I remember that Gerrard had it, didn't he? He had those. His hamstrings essentially just caused him so much pain, and we're probably seeing that with Bajcetic as well, because with the issues that he's had, and he's probably going through his growth spurts as well. It'll be interesting to see how he develops in the first team with the conditioning, seeing other players around him.
Yeah, so Dan's was very good, but he wasn't the Dan's we've seen now before this layoff. Then when he came back last year, he was like finding his feet in this new body. He's got the body of a man, really. And then when that clicked, he has just been on an upward trajectory since, to be fair to him. And he's very, very, very highly thought of in the academy. I thought we might have kept him under wraps a little bit longer. I'm quite surprised that we've put him out there yet, because other clubs will sniff, because he's one of them players. He's a bit like Tyler Owoni. I don't think we kept him so closed off. We're seeing it. Granted, he's not scoring 20, 30 goals a season, but we're seeing it at Forest. You know, him in a better side, he would excel as well. He's a fantastic player, Owoni.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought we might have shielded Dan's just that little bit longer, and a little bit gutted that we've had to use so much academy and everyone's seen how good they are. I like seeing us drip them into the team, being like, yeah, we can. Like, look at Bradley, being like, yeah, we can throw him in. no difference. And I like seeing that. But the fact we've used so many, I'm proud, but I'm a little bit gutted because the rest of the world know how good our academy is now.
Well, there you go. I mean, if it's just a sign of how healthy it is at the club. If they're good enough, they're old enough, all those little adages, and we'll think about that as time goes on. I'm sure we'll speak a lot more about the academy lads coming back, coming into the team over the remainder of the season. I'm just going to finish off with a quick note. Essentially, Manchester United. So it looks like, did they win? I'm pretty sure they won. Didn't they?
They won 1-0. Yeah.
Yeah. So the draw was made prior to our match, and we had the opportunity to either play Forest or United, whoever won that one, if we won our game. And it looks like we're going to go to Old Trafford. Kings, any thoughts about playing United? Just play the kids again. They'll just get battered one day. We'll batter them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's quite that simple, but I'd love to see, the kind of side tonight go in there and beating them. And really, I mean, Matty's saying he's a bit gutted that people are now seeing the these players coming through. Flip it round the other way, Matty, and just think, right, now they're seeing it, they can be scared of what's to come. Because the threat is there. Obviously, if they're that good, they're going to come through and be there for years to come, hopefully. I feel drawing Manchester United, yes, of course, it's always the big game of the season when you look at the Mersey derby, but you always look for the Man United game, whether it's the Cup, whether it's the league, whatever. So I'm sure for both sets of fans, they'll be up for it. I'm sure the players will definitely be up for it. But yeah, I'm pretty confident we're going to go there and win. I don't have any kind of outstanding thing of Man United are this good, they're going to play us off the park or anything. They're up and down with their season, and there's rumours that Ten Hag might not even be there after this season. It's like, I've got no interest in what they do. I don't care if they have they get rid of their manager and they haven't got one. It doesn't matter who they bring in. I'm not worried about it, because at the end of the day, you just concentrate on your own side, worry about that, and just bring on the opposition when it comes. And I think because of that game now, it moves the Merseyside derby further away, doesn't it?
Second to last game of the season.
I was just about to ask. Yeah, I think it does go to very, very late in the season, and could be season defining. Who knows? It could be championship winning match, relegation confirming.
I was going to say,
who knows?
Yeah, it could have big connotations. The thing with the Man United game is, if we go out of the FA Cup to Manchester United, it's like, don't want to lose to them ever, but it's not the end of the world. Where I think by moving the Everton game, because we're in the next round now, that gives us more time to get some of these other players back up and running. And by the time that comes around, like we say, it could be, yes, it's the Mersey derby, so it's a big game anyway, but it could have real implications on both ends of the table. And it's like, the players will be more up for that one, if you like, and it gives us a chance to get some of the injured players back. So all in all, I'll finish off by saying, yeah, I think we'll beat United anyway, though.
That's good. I like that. Matty, what do you think? We'll beat them.
Yeah, I think we'll beat them, because that fixture has always got because it's the quarters, then it's in the players' minds. Win this, it's another day at Wembley, and players want to play at Wembley. It's the biggest stage in English football and stuff. So that's where they want to play. But I'm with Kings. I just wanted to get through today. I couldn't care less if I want us to win everything, but this year I want that league more than ever for Klopp. So if it means that we have to sacrifice and play kids in other cups like we did today because of injuries and stuff, I wouldn't be against it. But moving that derby, I wouldn't have been confident playing Everton in a few weeks, given how many players are out, because I know form goes out the window in the derby. Yeah. Playing Everton second to last game of the season, when you're talking that potentially everyone bar Thiago, because he's never going to be seen again, but everyone back playing, it gives you confidence. Then, like you've then got like your Trents, your Southampton, your Nunes, your Curtis Jones, all back for that game. Then against United, that's in a few weeks. I think you'd probably have Southampton, Salah, Nunes potentially back, maybe Trent, maybe
Alisson. Who knows? Yeah,
Alisson should be back for City. Yeah, he'd be back for that. So then you look at it and you think it's probably going to be 8 and 9 senior players with a few kids in. And the difference between us playing a few kids and United going full strength is United are absolutely awful. And that's not even being bitter. They're just so poorly run. I'm a little bit more sceptical United now. They've brought in Ashworth, and I feel like Ratcliffe will get that club under some form of direction. But I think if we were to play against United, they're going to play players like Anthony and that. The crap.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that we've got a kid in the academy, Trent Doherty. He'll have a better career than Anthony.
Mm.
I'll say it now. I'm not fearful of United, and it feels a bit weird because my whole upbringing, it was like, oh, United.
Yeah.
And now
Same.
it's like they're so bad. Like it's mad, and Ten Hag is just every decision they've made footballing since Fergie left has been crap, and it's been brilliant to see. And I just, for me, knocking them out of a cup and denying them another year of silverware, all they've got to play for this year, that means a lot, and it'll mean a lot to a few of the players. Even if you throw kids in there, like a lot of our kids are Liverpool lads, that'll just mean so much more to go and
Yeah.
knock United out the FA Cup. And the FA Cup's got so much history, so to knock United out of that, it's special to me, and I'm happy we got them. You've got to play the best teams. Like even if you look at the League Cup run, we deserve to win that, given the run we had compared to Chelsea. And I think even with the FA Cup, we've sort of had easy-ish fixtures up until now, and I couldn't be bothered getting the final. And everyone going, "Oh, you've had a free pass to the final." So yeah, we'll knock United out. We'll probably get City in the semi. We'll do them in Wembley again, and then we'll welcome Chelsea yet again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Final.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, it's been a lovely evening watching the lads and having a conversation with you guys. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's in the comments. Had really good positive comments and really sorry that I didn't bring up that much in terms of the comments on screen, but it's all welcome. Matty, just want to say thank you for the love. Kings been absolutely brilliant speaking to you. Hopefully we're on a stream very soon. Just want to say thank you. Hit those likes, hit those subscribes. We're back again tomorrow for more news, more discussion. I'm sure we'll kind of speak about Jaden even more, and then we're going to lead into the weekend and we get into that, back into the league. Let's see, let's open up a further, more of a gap from them lot down the road. But yeah, just want to say thank you. Up the Reds. Good night.